Good morning, everybody. Wow, big group already today. Feel free to turn your cameras on, or if it's one of those days, turn your cameras off. We're just so happy that you're here and spending a little bit of time with us. We'll give everybody a minute or two more. Hi, Haley. She's clapping already. People are pumped up for Colorado Gives Day, and I love it. So today we'll be talking a lot about that, and I'm so excited for this topic. But for now, let's go ahead and jump in while people are joining and get started. So hi, today is November 12th, 2025. Can you believe we are halfway through November? It's been a whirlwind, but I think also what we are seeing and tracking for Colorado Gives Day is that numbers are up, all of the numbers. And so people are coming out, people are giving, people are feeling the generosity, and I think also the rage that comes with what's happening. And so I just wanted to encourage you all to really lean in. But let's hop in for today. While we're chatting, please go ahead and add your first name, last name, and organization. And again, that's just so we can keep track of who's in here. So just a reminder here, this webinar is recorded in November 2025. And so the strategies might evolve if you're watching this in 2026 or 2027. A reminder that if you have any technical questions about coloradogives.org, you should be emailing support@coloradogives.org as your first point of contact. And then, of course, if you have any questions about the content that we cover today, you have direct access with Institute for Sustainable Philanthropy folks, specifically Becky, through Canvas. And then if you have other questions, the rest of the team is available as well. All right, just a quick flash. Look at how much we've done. So a lot of these nonprofits that are participating in Colorado Gives Day, they're peeking their head out in maybe August, probably September, and a lot of them in October to start planning for Colorado Gives Day. We've been talking about this and prepping for this since June, and I am really excited about that. So it's really all coming together today. And so today we're going to be talking about beyond the thank you. So what happens when all of this generosity is ready to be thanked, when all of these donors are ready to be celebrated? Wanted to also mention that we give you, as well as the Institute for Sustainable Philanthropy team, a break in December, as well as in January. So there won't be any activities, there won't be any webinars in December and January for you to, finish out your year-end fundraising, of course, enjoy and decompress, we hope, in January. And then we jump right back in and start working towards our May deadline to get you ready for year-round fundraising, including philanthropic psychology. For me, I just wanted to give you a quick reminder also that right now I'm going through and checking all of your websites, and I'm sending you an email if you don't yet have the embeddable form embedded, or if I can't find it. Sometimes that's just how it is. So wanted to remind you that if you hear from me, it's just because I can't find the embeddable form in order to give you that 1K match for Colorado Gives Day. That match will go live December 9th, based on if you've used the embeddable form and embedded it on your site. And so you'll see that appear on December 9th on your organization page. So that first $1,000 you raise will be matched. And just a reminder that when I set that up, just don't alter that 1K match because I set it up in a way so it's consistent, so we can measure everybody's activity. I think you're gonna cover that $1,000 in the first couple minutes of Colorado Gives Day, but I hope it gives you a boost and some energy within your marketing leading up to December 9th. All right, wanted to also let you know there's a couple examples that I think are great of current Level Up participants and their embeddable forms. If you have any questions about embeddable forms, email me. You can email me directly and I'm happy to help. Also, I'm going to talk about a couple reminders and best practices here quickly, and you should be looking at watching the optimized website donations embeddable form webinar, because it doesn't just talk about the form, it talks about the website and all of the easy tricks you can change on your website landing page to optimize it for donations. I'm going to unshare the slide deck here for a sec because I wanted to take a quick peek at a couple of these embeddable forms. All right, so this is 60 Plus Ride. They have a page specifically labeled Colorado Gives, a wonderful introduction at the top with a visual. And I love this kind of like single column way that they've embedded their form. Another one we can take a peek at is Access Gallery. So I wanted to pause here to let you guys know that if you're sending someone to a donation landing page, you shouldn't have a pop-up because they don't want that pop-up. They want to give. They've clicked to give. So a reminder for folks that disabling a pop-up or disabling the pop-up on the page might be a great way to convert more donors. But they have embedded a great form on their page, their website, excuse me. Beyond Home, another great one. They also have a pop-up enabled, and they should probably disable it for this page because look, it's giving them the call to action to donate, but those folks are already on the page ready to donate. So let's take a quick peek down. Oh, they do a great single column too. I kind of love that. Makes it even more streamlined. So you can drag this embeddable form with ease once you copy paste that embed code to make it fit within your website look and feel. Just a couple more here to flash some in front of you. Boulder Ballet, gosh, what a visual. Take a look down here at the different donation levels and designations that they've put into their embeddable form. One thing I'd mention here is they have 2 navigations. And one thing we know about a donation page is as much as you can eliminate navigation, so going somewhere else, the better. So that might be an update that they would consider. Boys and Girls Clubs, they do a great job here. What I would say for them on their embeddable form page, use more copy. That's what we're here for. We just went through a copywriting course. We're writing emails. So I wanted to remind you guys that tell that story on the page that they're landing on, that you're also telling in the emails and social media that you're sending out. Whew, last one. And wanted to also say great job to Care and Share. They're a food bank in Southern Colorado, which we know we are in great need of right now. They did an introductory here with a big Colorado Gives Day logo and then embedded the form below. I think this looks awesome. The one thing I would say is they could probably tighten up the top so the donor doesn't have to scroll way down to find the donation form. But awesome, and they do a great job with their copy at telling a story. All righty, let me hop back to the slideshow. All right, and oh, this, sorry about that. Another reminder about the embeddable form as you're embedding it on your website this November. So we are asking you to embed the form, not link. So you're not linking back to a coloradogives.org URL. The form is actually on your external website. And if you're ever in doubt, you should be sending people to your donation page with the embeddable form because that's going to be the best experience, and train them to go to your website around the year to give. And if not, if you're ever unsure, there's always access to a direct link to donate when you go to checkout, then donation form in your organization page. So just a quick reminder there as we're revving up for Colorado Gives Day. The last thing I'll flash before we hear from Becky, is I've put in here the breakdown of all of my Colorado Gives Day webinar series. So you can quickly click on any of these numbers and go to that place in the YouTube video. So maybe you want to learn about campaign best practices. Ooh, there I am. Can you guys hear me? Sorry about that. So I have webinar 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So if there's any topics that you need a quick reference to for Colorado Gives Day, of course, we're all here to help, but you can also reference these different slides and click right to that piece of training in the YouTube video. Okay, thank you so much for letting me talk and a little bit about Embeddable Forms and Colorado Gives Day. And now let's get to the good stuff. I'm going to hand it over to Becky, who you all know and love, to kick things off for us today. Thanks all, and thank you, Becky.
Thank you, Jordan. And there is a question for you in the chat, Jordan, if
great.
you want to pop over there and answer that, and I will keep going.
Okay.
First of all, good morning to everyone. It's good afternoon and good evening throughout the world with all of your presenters today. So, you know, I'm too excited to be here because I can't help myself. It's so wonderful to see your faces, your smiles, and feel your energy just bursting through the screen. So I wanted to share some inspiration with you as you continue writing and prepping for the big Colorado Gives Day. And as you get ready for end of year, it's all kind of one big swirl of fun fundraising, if you will. So a lot of work all the way in between. But I need you to do me a favor, and I'm going to scroll through and make sure. First of all, let's just take a big, deep collective breath because you've made it this far. Jordan's right. We've been at this since June. We've been working our butts off trying to get to this point, get to the end of year, and here we are. Take a deep breath in. And I try to do that, but I'm too excited right now, so just bear with me. You take a deep breath in and then let it back out. And then I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for a minute because we're going to just kind of take this moment in, keep breathing, and just kind of listen all the way through what I'm going to read to you. I just ask you to breathe in and out and listen. Put yourself back in that moment. Were you surrounded by beautiful Colorado mountains and fresh, cold, clean water? You look around and say to yourself, I am so blessed to be in this moment. For most of us, it wasn't about the size of the catch or the gear we used. It was about a perfect moment of stillness. It was the whisper of the water, the sun warming your shoulders, and the pure, childlike thrill when you hooked it. That sudden electric connection, you versus the wild, is a core human memory. It's the moment the water gives you a gift, and it taught you one of life's first great lessons, that our waterways are full of magic. That magic, however, depends entirely on water. Okay, you can reopen your eyes. I hope you're all feeling some kind of way. Jen and I talk about this. This is the goosebumpy moment. This is the goodness, the joy, and the love, and every emotion you need to have. And this was from Andrew Todd at Running Rivers as a part of his submission. And this is pound the desk, clap out loud, amazing example of philanthropic psychology. So, Andrew, I think you're here. I was scrolling through to see. Bravo to you for this excellent, excellent submission. I hope you're all goosebumpy and feeling some kind of way. And now I need to come to Colorado and go fishing, even though fishing's not my thing. I'll do it because I want that feeling. I wanted to say bravo to all of you for working so hard on your submissions and in the forums. We love, love, love hearing from you and sharing with you all of these moments on what I think is a love-soaked journey. I wanted to share some of your revelations because they warmed our hearts. Jessica at the Legal Aid Foundation, I love this because it's so true. You said, I realized that my fundraising copy was always based on trying to convince someone of something rather than trying to make someone feel something. I sometimes used emotional messaging as a way to change someone's mind, but this is transactional and subtly different than being focused on how the donor is feeling. And I know that Jen and Catherine and all of your tutors are clapping right now because that is the moment we love to hear. Isabel at KRFC 88.9 FM, I feel like I'm an announcer right now, shared, the biggest surprise for me was realizing how much heart really drives effective fundraising copy. I used to think strong copy meant clean writing and clear calls to action. While it's true, I learned it's the emotion behind the message that actually moves people. And you know it, Isabel, having heart is what we do in philanthropy, no matter the topic, as long as we're genuine and connected. Emotions matter, and you touched my heart with that feedback. Dean at Colorado Youth Bands, you are definitely in tune and you are drumming to your own beat. Dean says, My biggest surprise is that it's okay to lean into cheesy or corny. As a dad, this is a huge relief and something I feel like I can naturally lean into. Yes, Dean, dad jokes all the way, share them with everyone, and corny is totally okay. I love all of these reflections. They're cheesy, corny, love, honest, genuine, and connected. It's the way to go. And we are just so, so proud of you. Before I go, I hope I'm okay on time. Little head nod. I just want to share one more thing. I thought about writing you a good luck poem and doing the cheesy, corny, philanthropic psychology way, but I think I'd rather let you inspire each other because in your booster statements that you wrote, there was some really beautiful inspirational messaging that I want to make sure you all hear. So Renee at Jared Music Foundation said, "You have the power to be someone's hero." And I believe that about all of you. You do. Imagine your donor just waiting for a message from you and you help them feel good about their giving. That's a hero moment for you. Caitlin at Toilet Equity said, "Someone's day depends on you. Do good." And by the way, she spelled do, D-O-O, which is cheesy, corny, and loving, and I love it. And Caitlin, you're right. Doing good helps everyone and everything around us. The world depends on us as fundraisers and marketers in our work. And Anne Marie at Holy Family High School said, "Yes, I'm ready to change hearts and minds." And I hope you all are as you go forward and you feel inspired as you approach Colorado Gives Day. I want you to write Anne Marie's on a Post-it note and put it next to your monitor. Yes, I am ready to change hearts and minds. I hope you open your own heart and mind, and these loving connections only continue to grow for you now and throughout the whole year. That's enough from me, and I'll turn it back to you. Thanks, all. Good job.
Oh my gosh, that makes me smile so much. Thank you so much, Becky. And Becky, were these slides that you wanted to go over? Did you go over them already?
These are gonna be Charlie's slides
Perfect.
now. Yeah, Charlie will be with us in 2-3 minutes. She is
Okay.
on her way. So what we are gonna do for this week, and when Charlie joins us, we will begin to hold everything together for you. As Jordan and Becky already said, our journey started from June. And since June, we went through three major forms of digital communication that you would have had with your donors in emails, through your website, and in your social media. We hope starting from this webinar, things will begin to come together in the sense that it is not necessarily that new channels will be introduced or a whole load of new technology will be introduced to you, but instead we're going to try to help you integrate everything that you have learned starting from June up to this point in holistically reflecting on people's journey, starting from when they first hear about you, whatever that channel is, to the point where they make their first donation until when they started to transform from someone who just give you money to someone who is one of your people. So to truly build that long-lasting, deeply meaningful relationship with them digitally. And this digital journey, as you will see, should not be considered as a separate operation from your overall fundraising, and it neither should be considered as a separate function from your overall achievement of mission. So everything is designed to grow that community of people who will come together to support the growth of the mission. So in order to do that, Charlie is going to talk about your donor retention and loyalty program to help you think through, okay, people are going to give money. People are going to give money. Most people will give money on Colorado Gives Day. That is at the very beginning of December. So how then do you think about how to thank them, how to welcome them? Have you built your welcome sequence yet for your first-time donors after they make their first donation? What message are you going to send within 24 hours of that giving day, 48 hours, 7 days, 14 days, 21 days? All of this content we introduced to you once already when we were in the email month. You have the examples of a lot of what Colorado Gives students produced last year, what they did 24-hour, 48-hour, 7-day, 14-day, 21 days after the day of Colorado Gives Day. So if you haven't had a chance to go through the material, I would recommend that you go back to the email month and then download the PowerPoint and go through it again, just so that you can review how you're going to build your welcome cycle. And then Charlie is also going to talk about during that journey, what are the goals that you want to achieve through your communications once people make their donation in Colorado Gives Day. And then Charlie will also talk about starting from February, what we will do is that we will help you now at that point, 3 months after you finish the copywriting class, a couple more months after you finish the Colorado Gives Day, to then review all your activities since June up to that point to say, what have I done that I have implemented everything I've learned? And what more I can do to integrate philanthropic psychology even more so that in March and in April, you will begin to build your checklist for 2026 and beyond. And in our very last webinar, you reflect on, okay, how much as an organization have we grown in our digital maturity in the last 12 months? And then you can ask yourself, what else are we going to do for the coming 12 months? So that is the time for you to then generate your schedule for the next months to take your fundraising to digital fundraising to the next level. So this is the place where we start the integration from our June's learning up to this point and start our integration and iteration all the way until the end of our program in the spring. Any questions, thoughts, reflections?
Are there
Sorry.
any? No, it's okay. Are there any questions in the chat? I had one, Jen,
Yeah.
while we're chatting. So obviously love the idea of kind of compounding everything we've learned so far and integrating it in the second half of this course, or courses, I should say.
Yeah.
Are there steps that the nonprofit should take outside of just integrating to like have their board or their executive director buy in to what they're asking to change? Because I know that's a big roadblock sometimes. Doesn't matter how much you're consuming this information if you're roadblocked by your team or, you know, by the board of directors. So I just wondered, what were your thoughts on that piece of integration?
It's absolutely important to involve the organization into the process, and it will take time. It's not going to happen immediately, and it's not going to happen overnight. So my recommendation, if you were working in an environment where your leadership structure is not as familiar with the approach that you have now learned, is to begin from places where you can change without asking for anybody's permissions. So a word in the subject line, a sentence in a communication, the PS. So anything that you can do that will increase the warmth of your communication without necessarily anybody noticing. It's almost in a way you want to lead your leadership into this journey by waiting for the responses you get from your donors. When you begin to receive unsolicited thank yous, to thank you for the warm communication you have given them, so that you can share the thank yous, forward all the thank yous you get from your donors to your leadership as your first step of change, instead of trying to introduce everything that you've learned as a system for them to adopt new ideas. Because with these leaders, what is their most precious resources is their energy and their time. So the best way to invite them into the approach is not to take more of their time, but to send them warm thank you messages, in a way lighten the load of the burden that they carry by warming their heart and telling them the organization is doing great, and gradually trickle in any early wins that you could have created through your digital fundraising, so that the approach of growing love and growing giving feels comforting and warm to them, not additional pressure on their plate. Any other questions before Charlie starts?
Jen, if I may, I'll just jump in really fast because one of the places that I struggled was this very question that Jordan just asked. And I started where I had the most control, and that was in my thank you letters. So it's so appropriately timed today. That's where nobody was kind of reading. They care about that output, the front output, the website, the social, but the thank you letter where you can just fill every moment with love and connection and autonomy and connectedness and all the good pieces. And then you'll get a thank you letter that someone, and they started writing thank you letters back to me saying, thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for putting so much love in the world. Thank you for giving me a space to share my belief in XYZ. So Jen is 100% right. Find that moment where you do have that control and start doing that with your donors, and you'll start seeing that feedback. And I saw Zoe said something, yes, pushing forward on those thank you letters, like see how this connection, and then there's a measurable in there, and that is your retention. If you get a brand new donor and you send them a love soaked thank you letter and they come back in a few months, then they're right back. You can track that retention and show them this kind of language does resonate with your donors, if that helps at all. I thought I would jump in because personal experience.
Absolutely. Love it. Nothing speaks louder than actions and results. Thank you very much, Becky. Charlie, I know you're here.
Yes.
I just can't see you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Yes.
And we can also see you.
Okay, great.
Jordan, are you controlling the slide at the moment? Okay.
I am. Let me unshare for us. Hi, Charlie. There you go. You should be able to share your screen if that works for you. We are so excited for this content today.
Slideshow. Oh, to share. Sure. Come on, share. It's always when you want it to work. Great. Oh, here we go. Oh, we might want to get on the right slide. Okay. Firstly, I wanted to do two of my favorite examples from everyone's social media. Here, I really, really loved Brittany. It was so amazing. Thank you so much. Right now, a single mom in our community is quietly counting down the days, not to the holidays, but to her next paycheck. And I think that just paints such an amazing picture right away. It mentions Colorado Gives Day. It's super great. And then it has the link, donate here. The only little thing I would change about this entire post is having the link up near the top as well, just to make it above the fold, because this is probably not going to go all the way down. So having that action item a bit higher up, the picture, it really grabs you. Don't be afraid to have a less produced picture, and you can even kind of make it more grainy and be a little secretive about that using Canva. So really, really great. And I just loved this other example as well. It was just really special. I loved the use of the Colorado Gives Day. The picture is just so adorable. I mean, there was so many to choose from, but these ones just grabbed me right away. Colorado Gives Day above the fold, it causes that urgency, which I absolutely love. It's a day they want to give on the day. Again, the link could be a little bit higher, and these M dashes maybe a little less. We do know that that's an AI giveaway. So it's usually like 99% of people probably won't notice that, but just make sure you're not overusing them. And there was a couple social media questions that came up after, and I really wanted to make sure everyone got all the notes if that we put in there to really get into all of these items. But it came up. I use AI images in my presentations, so if anyone's wondering about that, it's not like donor facing, and you always have to be really, really clear if you are. It's a great example to say, if you're working with children, say like, we use AI images to protect the privacy of the little ones that we treat, but they depict the things we see every day. So be transparent, otherwise that can cause a whole thing. The Joe Rogan example that we had last session, just making clear, like never, if it's any kind of politician spreading misinformation, we know about the whole Tylenol thing. That's not really something, unfortunately, you can respond to. But when it's just, basic people, they're not politicians, you absolutely should. If it's counter to your mission, are you serving your mission if you're letting misinformation proliferate or spread everywhere? Ethical storytelling. This goes in with some of the prompts that we've shared for gathering content. Let's just make sure we're always getting permission and double opt-in from people that they're okay to share their stories, any kind of images, especially with children. We want to get all of that in writing to make sure that you have permission. In correspondence in writing, it's in back and forth in email. Hijacking trends, as somebody mentioned, like getting staff to do dances and stuff, that can be really hard. That's a lot to ask from your staff that works so hard as it is. And I think that it's maybe better to look at like videos and like repost them with your comments, or like you can put a sticker on it. That might be an easier way to get on those and share. It's more of a sharing thing, or like putting your own spin on it. We had a couple examples around that. And we talked just now about how low quality often performs better. It feels more organic. We really want to use those stock photos so that you're not intruding on people's privacy. But stock photos can be punished in the algorithm, especially organically. If they've ever been used on any meta before, they will punish them because it's not new content, and they just want to feed that content beast. And learning through failure. Don't be afraid to like things aren't working. That means what's not working, which means you're closer to everything that will work. Okay, so moving forward to beyond the thank you everyone for, looking back and how it all comes together to this. But now we're going to really make sure that you can use all of that you've learned to look into retention. So we really want to finish strong, keep those people around for another Colorado Gives Day next year. And that means a lot of relationship building. So the session is about strengthening gratitude, really maxing that out, making every digital touch point feel personal and meaningful. Although we know digital doesn't stand alone, we're going to talk a little bit about that. A warm welcome. So I put in here, we're not going to go over a full 90-day journey, but when you get these slides at the end, it like walks you through an exact 90-day journey and everything that would be optimal. And I tried to put in like absolutely necessary and like, aspirational, and if you have capacity. So trying to put in both sides. Measuring love, so we can track the relationship quality, how we're going to do a bit of like seeing if you're making moves. And small team capacity. So I really want to make sure, because it's all great to say like all the amazing things and thank yous you can do, but only within your capacity. So for your Canvas assignment, we are going to do these things. So if you want to make special notes about how, in any slides that really speak to you about how you're going to deliver this. So writing a warmer subject line that sparks curiosity. So there are a lot of great things that are genuine and can come from you, like a great subject line is like, just checking in. That could come from a really close friend. That can come from you. It's the same kind of vibe.
Those get me every time. I'm like, someone needs
I
me.
know. I know. I know.
So it does
You
work.
know, did you like around Colorado Gives Day, like just a subject line that says, did you hear? What's that? Like, I need to know, oh, did I hear what? Like you don't have to be like, this is from our organization and da 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 da. People are really busy, and it's not that they don't care, it's that they feel like that's going to be a time commitment away from the like 8 million things they have to do that day. So really make sure it's like, okay, we know a short little subject line, quickly, they'll scan it, they'll probably see the PS first. So making sure that's really strong, making sure you really grab them with that first sentence. Usually I have about 3 seconds with a digital person. So really clear on that. We're going to talk about how important a February touch point is, and a PS that we just said with a really personal touch that makes them feel warm and fuzzy because people remember how you make them feel. And if you want bonus points for me, tell us something else that has worked for you that you can share with the group. Past, simple, innovative, anything that just little things that you probably have done that you noticed that people really enjoyed. So anything like that. So thanking matters so much. 82% of donors never give again. That's it. You will get 20% of the people may get sticky for these, like, especially these big giving days, unless you do some thanking. So thank donors are 4 times more likely to return. That is a very, very critical thing to know. And it's something that feels like one more thing, like they got their tax receipt. We said a really nice thank you there, but you have to go out of your way to really try to make that connection. So making sure we're really making meaningful thanking. If you want to get any of those other 82% of donors back, those are the people. And those other 18%, like they will stay that for that third gift, that fourth gift, which you really want to get them on monthly giving, sustained giving. And that will be something that you really want to do, obviously. So 18% your first time donors, that's what you could, that's are the people that are going to make a second gift. New donor retention rate in 2024, 13.8. So 18% is kind of what we're seeing year over year trending, but it's going down. It is going down. Cost to acquire. So for every dollar you get from a donor, it'll cost you $1.50 for brand new donors. But retention cost is cost saving. It's only 20 cents. So making sure, sending out those thank you notes after they've made it like a gift online, that's going to be put some postage and whatnot, but it really, really, really makes a difference. And yeah, it costs a lot to get new donors. You don't make money until that second gift potentially, right? Especially sustainers. Often it takes between like $200 and $300 usually if you're doing advertising to get a sustaining donor. So you don't see that coming back. You don't really see a return for potentially an entire year. So it's really playing the long game in that. So making sure that you see realistically or communicating to leadership realistically about what it costs to invest in getting new donors. And, it's like Colorado Gives Day is such an amazing day. These days that grab new people, that have the additional advertising and the momentum, such an amazing part with the matching gift. Like that really helps with that cost of acquisition. So taking maximum opportunity with something like this. There's a couple, if you want to read more about these reports, I've linked them. So understanding digital donor behavior, I've already said it takes 3 seconds to decide. I put a link in here to check your load time. So you can put in your donation page and see how long it takes to load that page. And if it's not less than 3 seconds, you have to go in, and we've used AI now to see, you can use like ChatGPT or anything. There's like special websites in the link that will let you know, like, oh, if you removed this banner, the image is too big. you need to condense it down, not make it smaller, but like actually make it a smaller file and then re-upload it. So there's simple things like that that will make all the difference. So just making sure you do that, making sure it's mobile optimized. Colorado Gives Day does that for you, yay. And that email open rate, really depending on your size and your dedication, if you're getting 25% even at this point is really, really good. So it can go up, and it really depends on how much you're segmenting, because that means how much personal stuff you're getting, personalization. So really making sure that you're aiming for that. And if you're not doing that, really, really working on your subject lines, making sure, maybe there's stuff around your email, not having a good send, like, if people are calling it spam, then you have to really like make sure you're doing different things, and you can read all about those boring details if you're more interested. So the great news, yeah, second time donors, 6% of second time donors will keep giving. So it's really about locking down that love, love, love for them to get that second gift. And monthly donors, you see an 83% retention rate. I've seen as low as 50% because they don't have a stewardship program. Monthly donors are dedicated, so even to keep half is really amazing. But often I see like well into the 90s for anyone that has a proper thinking program, stewardship program, to make people feel closer to the organization. So yeah, you really will want to, obviously, once you get that third gift and fourth gift, it's a great moment to be like, oh, well, you give regularly. Even like if you see that they give on Colorado Gives Day every year, talking about like maybe an annual gift, making sure like you take those minutes to connect with them, sending an email before, being like, oh, I know that you give every Colorado Gives Day. Don't miss it. It's tomorrow. And thank you so much for giving every year. It's just your dedication means so much to us. That kind of moment that you can find. And it may be hard to get those people, segment them out, but even if you're just doing like anyone that's donated over 500, if you can just get any kind of small number that you can within your capacity, amazing. But digital doesn't replace personal touch. So really getting out any kind of cross-channel impact. Donors who receive both digital and physical thank yous are up to 3 times more likely to give again. There are ways to do this at scale that isn't extremely expensive. You can, if anyone's done any direct mail, that it's doable. But of course, if you have like a volunteer day, where you all sit around a table, you have those addresses and envelopes, you print off everyone and you're sticking it, and maybe volunteers are writing the message, and then you have a few sign-off people. That can be, you spend, I've done it, in a 4-hour session, we get like 800 of those done, and it's really amazing. Depends on how many volunteers are willing to come in and help make these special moments. And then, of course, they walk away with a nice thank you note after the session. So yeah, multi-channel, so critical, like so additionally, and it's within your capacity, and you can't be hard on yourself with that. So the goal is connection, not just acknowledgement. It's not just a thank you. It's creating that connection, ongoing relationship. It takes about 5 years to nurture into something like a major gift, even if so you're noticing a few people giving more and more each year. They started with 250, 500. It's gaining that kind of momentum. You notice their postal code is in a little bit of a rich place, so paying extra attention, making sure that those people get those thank you notes and are feeling seen. Micro attention is really, really great. The little things make all the difference. You want to make sure you're doing a duration of enhanced gratitude. There's some really great tests that have been done. So 8 months measured time period over which revenue increase was tracked and confirmed. So making sure that you're doing a long-term looking at it. You're just like, okay, we've done the 90-day journey. And like we've asked for another gift at the end of the 90 days and only like 5% gave again. You need more time. You need more time. That 90 days is critical so that they start to get to, in the flow of things. Don't be upset when people don't give again after 90 days. Track it. Make sure that you're looking at things. Okay, of course, obviously Jen has done some amazing work, and sending out just one additional gratitude message is just, it makes all the difference, and they've done such incredible studies.
Hey, Charlie, I have a
So,
question
mhm,
about that last
mhm,
slide. Because I just had never heard the term micro retention. I love it. It's the day
mhm,
to day that you're doing, or the extra nudge or love. And I wonder
mhm,
if, again, if you don't have the capacity as yourself, ED, development director, marketing person, can the
mhm,
board help you take those actions? Like these micro retentions, I feel like they're easy enough to get your board or volunteers to help you out. So I just wanted to mention that. I
mhm.
love this idea.
Yeah, and from the study, it's that one, we're going to talk about that February thank you, that extra, and it can be digital. You just have to really put in the effort to make like a nice segmented list, mentions like what the impact of their gift, and what it's done, so they can feel connected in a concrete way, to what they're making a difference around, that real gratitude of everything that they've accomplished together with you. But yeah, just like little things, one extra thank you. Anything that you can get volunteers and board involved with your capacity, that's really, really going to help. So there are 5 levels of thank yous. Level 1, receipt of gift, very important, but that's kind of transactional. And 2, you want that good feeling, acknowledgement plus positive emotion. Then you want personal connection. You want appreciation for that person. And then you want that, ideally, this is really where you want to connect, that larger story of shared love. You want them to integrate them into the collective mission narrative, that your community connecting. Um, you can spot your current level by reading your last thank you email if you've had one. And then, does it hit on this kind of larger story? Is it just appreciation, which is great? Level 4, it's incredible. Anything on here, you have a starting point, right? And if you're feeling really like you're getting, if you're getting email back or any kind of message back about that shared love, you're connecting. So there's science around gratitude. When we express or receive gratitude, memory strengthens. Your connection, that connective moment, memory centers, so making experience more memorable. Trust increases, and that's critical in the era of AI. About 20% of people truly trust nonprofits. 20% say they have a strong trust for nonprofits. That's not much. So really, really making sure you're part of that 20%, that, grabbing that, growing that 20% across the board, and making sure that you're making that effort. Neurochemicals rise, oxytocin, dopamine, people feeling good about themselves. Everyone deserves that. People acting for the greater good. So gratitude shifts focus from self to community, and that kind of thing. A sense of community is always kind of people feeling belonging, and it's really lovely. But I just want to make sure that gratitude starts inside. So we're talking about donors, we're talking about donors. But if people feel great at work, then they're going to feel better about sharing that love, right? If people are burnt out and exhausted and not feeling seen in the workplace, it's really hard to go and make like a really loving, warm email when you don't feel any of that. So here's some potential practices here. Um, I really like how survey staff on how they like to receive gratitude, how they like to be seen in the workplace. Some people want to be like, they want all of their stuff shared, like they accomplished something, and they, in the next meeting, they say, oh, so and so had like a really great call with a donor, and it's just so amazing to see connecting. Some people want to not have that kind of attention on them. Maybe they want just like a little thank you note or things like that. Putting that in a spreadsheet to make sure people are feeling gratitude at work. Starting those meetings with a win of any kind, like that nice call, that can be really, really helpful to be like, yes, we are seeing wins. Maybe your, retention rate isn't great right now, but little wins go a long way, and those little moments can grow and grow. So there are types of love in fundraising. Jen Shang has done the research, and along with Adrian, and it's just been so many. And so just like how people like to receive love in the workplace, people have a different way of receiving love as donors. And so it's connecting and finding out how your donors are receiving love, and so you can communicate to them. So there's playful love, passionate love, self-kindness love, familial love, and pragmatic love. So that pragmatic, grounded, dependable communication, they really like that kind of person, wants to see your annual report. They want to see stats. That a gentle, affirming messages that nurture donor well-being, that self-kindness love, very, that's really where you're going to see a lot of it. Making sure you're not too serious with every single communication. That can be really emotionally exhausting. So light, joyful, spontaneous moments that, again, like celebrating those little wins, doing a fun little contest that is meaningful for people, that's a bit more playful. So gratitude love, digging into that, what it looks like. We're so grateful for you. Your gift means everything. We couldn't do this without you. Making sure, us, our, and we language has to be used carefully, because you don't want to remove them from the mission. So making sure that, you're constantly making sure it's a together. You're using the word, like you're making sure that we means together. And we, it's like the saying we here could also mean like the recipients of that. So making sure like you see them, but together you're doing a lot. So your color was a gift, filled our hearts with gratitude. That's really, really amazing. Belonging love, so that connection that we always want to do. You're part of family, you're part of this community, you're a change maker together. It's a really, really strong word, together. You really want to work that in where you can, along with you, together. That's an amazing, they're part of the mission. They are on the ground with you. Impact love, what it looks like. Look what you've accomplished because of you. Someone has received this amazing opportunity. Your caring gift directly resulted in. So the impact, this is where people like to see, of course, like maybe some stats, but mostly, as we've learned previously, careful with the stats. It does kind of might bring people out, it might be cognitive overloads, making sure it's grounded in, this many people received, that kind of stat number, but then, and then following it with, one of those people was Maria, and you made it possible. Recognition love, so public acknowledgement, donor spotlights, special titles is really, really great. Don't be afraid to put those out. Be careful with special titles. You want to not overly complicate things that could help your that can overall make an issue with. Are you guys seeing the screen okay? I just saw like something changed. Good. Okay, great. So special titles. So lots of people like to name their monthly program like a change makers, like everyday change makers. That's a problem because it's just not clear enough on what it is. People might search monthly giving, but all of your SEO is around like change makers and that kind of language. You really need to make sure that you're making things clear and concise. You sustain monthly sustainers, you sustain the work. So making sure that that's really, really clear, so that people aren't confused around that and they can find it when they search it and know where it is on your site. It's just really, the clarity is super important there, but doesn't mean that you can't have like, making something that's for like mid-level donors. That's not something people are searching or kind of understand. That's inside baseball. So maybe making special titles for them can be really great. Surprise love. This is what we're going to talk about, and it's really great. Unexpected thank you calls, random appreciation notes, just because updates. These are incredible. Example, no ask today. Just wanted you to know your December gift has accomplished so much and things are, it's just because of you. There's just so much movement happening and, can't wait to connect with you again. So in these parts, thanks to Lisa Sargent, we can identify 6 building blocks to get to that powerful thank you, that powerful connection. So using the thank you method, which is really, really helpful. I think, printing this off and putting it somewhere in your office that you can see, it can really help inspire you to look at it and say like, okay, I'm looking at my thank you message. I'm looking at things, making sure that these hit in a few areas. So the thank you, the help them see. So show donors exactly using that concrete, tangible difference. Invite engagement through surveys. Okay, people are afraid of doing surveys. People love to talk about themselves. Never be afraid. Feedback, stories, volunteer opportunities to deepen the connection. Notify how to reach real people. Having that email come from a real person. Maybe you have it set up so that it comes back into like a general email, but it feels like it's a real person. And if they address that name in there, you know who to send it to, but making sure contact information is readily available. Kindling good feelings, warm human language that creates positive emotion. And making sure you're updating them when they'll next hear from you is really nice. That kind of, it doesn't have to be super, super exact, but set clear expectations around the kind of communication. Like maybe you're going to put in a text or a call or something like that so they know, and that will really help. So those building blocks, you want speed. That first 48 hours is critical. If you aren't getting that thank you out, if you have with your tax receipt, it's just an attachment, that automatic email going out, making sure it's really, really kind and warm and making them feel seen, and what their gift is going to do, and just so amazing. You can do that like instantly. That's really, really good. That's the bare minimum you want to do and if you can't get that kind of automation, Colorado Gives helps you with that. But just in case you want to do an additional thank you or you can't get that thank you up to speed quick enough, after that 1 week, they're starting to forget you already. So you really, really need to get that emotional high. If you can, email so that's within 24 hours of that 1 week, after 1 month. So, that bare minimum within 48 hours if you can. So, if you can do that call to major donors, I think probably you're doing that. You see like a $5,000 come in. I hope that you're making time to call and thank that person. That's significant depending on where your major giving starts. Make sure you're setting expectations across your team. Like we see a $2,500 gift come in, we call and thank them. That's like, we just saw your gift come in and like, so incredible, you're incredible, all of those feelings, making sure that like, that's, it's not taken lightly. It's a very special moment. Warmth. So you don't want to do, dear donor, thank you for your tax deductible gift. You want to be like, Sarah, your kindness yesterday made us so happy. We did a happy dance. And here's bare minimum, use their first name at least. That's really easy to do in every email program, every kind of email sending program. Reference something specific about them, where they gave, the time, like any kind of thing that you might kind of grab onto. And then ideal one day, you'll care about them and who they are just as much as they care about the cause. So kind of making sure everyone feels seen and they feel cared for, and you genuinely feel that for the donor. And it's not just a number, and it's not just this overwhelming thing that you must keep doing, that it's like a real connection on both sides. Show you're paying attention, mention their exact gift amount. This is great. If you can't do it, it's not the end of the world. You can put in some language about what gifts do in your communications. Reference Colorado Gives Day specifically. If it's like in the Colorado Gives Day window, it's really, again, it kind of reinforces that this day every year is really, really special. Note if they're first time or returning. If there's one segmentation you can do, this would be the one. So first time they're finding out about you, but returning gifts are, really those people are now dedicated to you. You've gotten that second gift. Your attention's gone a million times up. They're special. So, and then some examples from bare minimum to ideal one day. So you want to be specific. Your gift bought 10 books for the mobile library, really specific on what these people are doing. That tangibility sticks. And if you can't get it kind of more dynamic, where you're kind of giving a bit, people 1 to 100 did, or like, $10 to $100 did the kind of work, kind of segmenting like that. But naming one specific outcome that the work in general is doing, mini story of someone that helped, and a photo or video of actual impact, if you can, goes a long, long way. Building block 5, donor focused. We are so eager to talk about ourselves and, make sure that people know what the organization does, but it's the connection to the work, talking about the work that you do. Everything's coming from you. You have branded everything. Your Facebook has your name in it. It's your brand is there, and they will associate it naturally more and more with you as they become more connected. So it's about donor focus and how they're connected to the cause. Read your thank you and circle every you and we and adjust accordingly. Sometimes that we is appropriate, but we together paired is always going to be stronger. Write like you talk. It's really easy to get into that inside baseball, talking about, we say words like mid-level donor, and that's like not how people talk to each other. It's not going to work. Let your personality shine. It's great to have different senders from your organization to kind of capture different voices. And that can really help. And then you can notice, some people really respond to this, some people really respond to that. Maybe one person becomes your sender because they just always do so well. That's okay. That's great. Don't overinvest in case, there's turnover, but it's great that you can find people's different voices working in different ways. So the minimum viable thank you, a personal email within 48 hours. Use your donor's name is used, specific to Colorado Gives Day, one impact statement, and signed by a real person. Don't just say from the organization. Try to make it feel more personal, a one-to-one there. So to do this to write this one, thank you email, it shouldn't take you that long. These, what the impact you do, it's for Colorado Gives Day, and you'll retain more donors than 50% of other nonprofits because they're not making this effort.
Charlie, I have a question for you on that. I love the idea of an actual signed by a real person. Are you meaning like literally their signature, like, or just that just that it's a real face, maybe alongside a name at the bottom of the email?
A real name and position is really just like you would have.
That's required.
Yeah, kind of in like your signature. You really like how a friend would sign off their email. Maybe they're not putting the position. Position gives it a bit of authority figure help, so that it's legitimacy. But you would want to sign off like, sometimes it's even like a sign off like cheers to you, and a name and just something like that feels like it's coming from somebody who really cares. So don't be afraid to, just being like, sincerely or, with gratitude is good, but, something that feels like, wonderful. I hope you have a wonderful day signed. And like, I'll be thinking about you, about the impact you're making next time I'm, on the front lines or doing something. Those kind of little,
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. The next time we're able to give a person shelter, I'll be thinking of you. That kind of moment is really, really powerful, and a great way to sign off. And it immediately associates that name with that feeling. Common mistakes, learn from others. Let's look at some common mistakes that are made. Making it about you, we've gone over this. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't treat everyone the same. We've also, just reinforcing this, we want to do new, returning, and major donors at the bare minimum. The absolute amazing thing you want to do, looking at these, but also what mission are they aligned with in your organization? We've previously talked about that. So if you have, if you're working in unhoused, you're working with hunger, you want to know like kind of where they land on that area if you're doing multiple pieces. So making sure that they're getting that kind of messaging, because that's really like they know that you do more than that, but that's what connects them to you. Going silent after thank you. Don't ghost people after that. Here's a really clear guideline on what you can do. It's that impact update, story from the field, a Valentine's love note doesn't hurt. That they're getting love from more than any more than other people, hopefully, that they have in their life. Again, every additional moment they can feel seen, it's great. Forgetting emotion. You want, all the facts, no feels, 5 families served, 5 families who woke up warm. There's a big difference there. One you can really picture, and it's that concrete. I close my eyes, I read a sentence, close my eyes. Can I picture that sentence? I cannot. Then I have to do a rewrite. Making it complicated. Perfect is the enemy of done. So we're talking about all these things and you have to do every single one of them. Don't stress about that. Get one thing done and feel good about yourself. Celebrate that win. And just waiting till every single email is just right, looking like, oh, every sentence has to be just so. If you feel like your sign off is super powerful, you feel like your subject line is like really on it, do what you can. Simple thank yous, but like it can just do small things. Better to call 5 donors than no donors. If you can do that, it's just really whatever you can get to, that's great. And so here's a quick reference card. Here's another one to print up and like put near if you're really, if you want to. Thank you within 48 hours. Use your donor's name, reference things, and you can apply this throughout the year, right? Colorado Gives Day is what we're talking about today, and a great to reinforce that. But maybe it's like the last 2 days of the year. Maybe it's something around their annual, like, so maybe they gave a gift 1 year ago today, doing that celebration, and lots of different systems. You can automate that, like 1 year ago today, like look at what's been accomplished in a year. So thinking about that as well, but making sure, initially trying to get that connection so that a year later they're coming back. And sign with that real name. It's 2 hours, tops to get all this done. Here's a template, the thank you template. You're amazing. Thank donor, reflect on their identity, show impact using plain numbers and outcomes, concrete, set expectations, and a personal sign-off. So the welcome window, I keep reinforcing this because it's so, so critical. That 90 days as a donor initial gift, this represents that emotional high where they feel like they've done something in a world where it feels like everything's spiraling. We really want to make sure that they're feeling like they're seen and heard. Common pitfalls, don't over design your emails. People want to put in banners and they want to have like tons of graphics. Something that feels like it's coming from another Outlook email can go a really long way. Don't get crazy with it. You don't need to. Obviously, like, we want to have pictures that connect them to the cause. That's great. Doing it like after the first paragraph studies show like that's kind of a good moment for it. But banner, it's not wrong with banners and should always be tested. Everything here is like what has worked overall, but everyone is their own organization. If you know something works, you've tested already, then amazing. Ignoring mobile formatting, people immediately test, they do their test email, they look it on their screen. don't ever do that. Send it to yourself, look on your phone. That's where people are going to read it. People are sitting, watching TV, they have their phone in their hand, emails pop up. Those are the times, those are the giving moments when they're like on their phone is a really great time because that's feeling more intimate too. So making sure you're looking at it in mobile. Automations that stop abruptly. So you only have that one thank you, and then that's it. You're not following up, and you're not setting, if you can, I know like everyone's on different systems, if you can kind of set up any kind of welcome journey that is it can be automated is really, really great. And getting that 30-day follow-up, making sure you're not ghosting them. Consistency. Okay, so we're going to look at a really realistic post-holiday plan. End of year is just like so exhausting. So wanted to make sure that for small, small is beautiful. Small gives you time to really you maybe have smaller donor base and gives you more opportunity to connect with people. So immediately response, making sure you're getting that 48 hours, preferably right away, and then a follow-up thank you. Segmenting and calling your top donors. Absolutely must do. Maybe that top donor comes in December 31st. Obviously, it kind of goes into January. Show early impact right away, like have that tangibles. Sending one update, showing collective impact, because of you, this work's going to be done. If you can, share a specific story, get that great content, include photos from your programs. February, keep that connection alive. Must do one touch point. No asking, just updating that really, really special thank you moment. This is where we want to talk about doing that big love moment. It's really, really special. And it's no asking. You can connect back to your website, which might have some stuff on it about asking, but this is like a real moment to connect. And maybe there's, if they want to learn more about exactly what their gift did on the website, or you have a video on the website you want to show them, having a screenshot with the play button on it. People love to click images. Always make sure your images are linked. And finally, that second gift ask, you've been stewarding them, really soft ask. It's something about, becoming more connected, and now you've seen the impact and you're such a giving person and just want to, if you want to keep going kind of thing, reference their Colorado Gives Day impact. It's really great. So they remember that moment in time, that memory might come back to them better. Offer that monthly giving option on that form. Maybe you can get, a monthly giving match. That's just so amazing. And yeah, creating that matching gift opportunity if possible, because getting that second gift is so important. Success, 10% second gift rate is increase in second gift rate when you're doing this. Or trying to get that at least that 10%. Usually you can get higher, but I think if you can get 10% of your people to give a second gift, and don't be like, in this one day it has to happen, but this is a moment where you want to look at the people that received this and measure that, see if it's happening. And then if it didn't get, a 10, 5, 10%, 5 minimum, which is on the low end, you want to make sure that you are looking back and being like, okay, maybe we used the wrong kind of love. Do we need to do something that's less impact-based and more playful? You don't need fancy systems to track. You do want to track. Looking at creating a little spreadsheet. If you can pull this from your CRM, great. If you can't, you're going to do a little bit of manual. And if you can only do this for, some higher end donors, then maybe just a sample size of smaller donors, looking at that and seeing, maybe 10 people that got email, 10 people that got monthly, these different things. That you can keep on tabs in a spreadsheet to be like, okay, are we actually getting in touch points with these people? Can be really helpful.
And it says here, the goal to beat is 19%. I feel like just lean in a little bit and we can get over that hurdle. So that's a pretty achievable, I think, goal to beat, but maybe I'm misinterpreting it.
No. That's the average. that 18, 19%, that people give that second gift. So if you can beat that average, you're above the other charities. Like you're now the big player. So if you can get that second gift, more than 20% of your people do that, you're officially incredible. But don't be afraid that, things, don't always go right the first time. That's like that. I always think like success only comes with the willingness to fail, because you have to be able, if you don't fail it, then you're not learning. If you're, obviously we want to just win every single time, but in something that doesn't succeed, where not to go next. You're going to really try something else. So if you can, phone and video thank yous, really, really powerful. Obviously, like Canva putting together thank you, like all the staff saying thank you, volunteers. Especially like if you have any kind of authority figure, like if you work with any kind of nurses or any kind of like that, that brings a new level. If you can get any kind of video of anyone, just saying thank you. Can't every day, I can't do this work without you, and I just making sure it's you can say we, but you can also say like me, like I'm thanking you. This is like from somebody. I am doing this work on the revenue development team. Like I see these amazing, like I am seeing you. Each donor means so much to me, and I literally nothing happens without you. High touch matters, immediate retention lift. So this kind of major touch points, obviously creating a better connection, those phone calls and things. So monthly donors deserve special care. They're so amazing. Making sure you're recognizing, really go out of your way. These can be the bread and butter of your organization, right? So, and the key to the work that you do, trying not to, transactionalize, that's a new word, them. So making sure you are making the time for the anniversaries, how long they've been giving and how much that means and what that has accomplished. Those are really, really special ones. And making sure if you're putting out a lot of asks, making sure you're segmenting them out, but you absolutely should ask monthly donors for more. Like whenever they'll be mad if you don't get them a matching gift, if you don't tell them the 48 hours, if they like are still looking for an additional tax receipt on top of their amazing gift, like now's the time. We know it's not why you give, but just in case, but we see you and you're always amazing. But yes, really, really making sure you're speaking to them like they deserve to be spoken to. They are going to carry you through the hard months where people aren't giving.
I just want to say, I love hearing from my dentist. I love hearing from my nonprofits. I love hearing from everybody on my birthday. Even though it's like, I haven't seen my dentist in 2 years. It's still like, the action happened. The little moment of, hey, Jordan, we're your dentist. Happy birthday. It matters. So just wanted to say it really truly is. And you can all probably attest to that around the time of your birthday, even if it's, to purchase something or 20% off. It's still like, oh yeah, I'm special. It is my birthday. So just wanted to mention.
Yes, for sure. If you have that information, often you don't. It's something that it's great for that initial survey and the thank you, where you're like, where do you want us to go as an organization? And, would you like to give your birthday so we can send you, so we can try to send you special notes for, special things for your birthday so we can celebrate you additionally. Those kind of ways to grab it that, making that seem like we want to try and celebrate you everywhere, is always really special. Okay. Page completion percentage. So your donation form, how many people come in? You can see that on Google Analytics, additional analytics, but you want to see how many people show up and how many actual donations. So those are just two numbers, and you can, divide and then find out your percentage. Retention at 6 and 12 months. This is the ultimate metric. You want to know how many people, it's that second gift at 12 months, 1 year, really like looking at your full year. Look at last year, see how many people gave their first gift, and then how many of those people came back and gave a second gift the next year. That's your benchmark to beat. You can look at all these averages everywhere, but you should be competing against yourself more than anything. If you can improve just 1%, 2%, 3%, that's a win. You're going upward, and that's really amazing. And don't be so hard on yourself. You're making progress. Progress is amazing. You want to immediately be like, oh, I want to retain all of them. But look at last year, get those 2 numbers. How many donors, how many of those first-time donors last year gave again this year? Those are going to be really great. And if you can look at those people that gave on Colorado Gives Day last year, sending out a special segmented email to them being like, you gave last year on Colorado Gives Day. It's here again. I know that you care so much and that you love participating in this day. That kind of moment can mean a lot because I feel really like, oh yeah, I did. Like, oh yeah, that kind of spark being like, yeah, it felt great last year. I'm going to do it again. Oh, I almost missed it. That kind of moment is really great. And then, so what to do after you look at all of these things and then kind of seeing how it's going. If retention rises, double down. You're doing it. Yay, you. If open rates drop, that subject line, you really want to look at. Second, check sender name. Is it a real person? Like, is that clear that it's not just coming from the organization? Although sometimes that works more depending on your notoriety or your kind of your brand recognition. But we're dealing with a lot of like smaller nonprofits, so your brand share can be quite small. So fix these before changing too much of your content if you're feeling really strong about your content. If reply rates rise, yay, you're winning again, double down. If nothing moves, simplify so that you can try and see like what the failure points are. If it's just no one's opening that first thank you, really working on that subject line, trying to perfect it. If you can do any testing, if that's possible, doing subject lines against each other. You can usually set that up in your system, but yeah, just trying to do anything you can. But here, this is where you really kind of want to look.
Charlie, can I just jump in here because I feel like that's probably the best place to forewarn people that yes, we're going to take a break December, January, and February, but in the middle of January, what we will do is we'll send you a similar mini audit as what you did at the beginning of the journey in June, so that you can begin to think about these numbers that we're telling you to write down. But as you should have recognized from what Charlie shared here, we begin to integrate the information we shared with you from June. Some of these numbers are now repeating from the first iteration. So this is the second time that you're seeing them. There's the thank you webinar in your Canvas platform. So this is again the second time that you're seeing them. So you will begin to see information that is being repeated. And some of these numbers we ask you to track in your own database from June already. But now you've got a 6 months to begin to build on them, reflect on them, make change based on them, and track them. So when we ask you to do the mini audit again to reflect on how you are doing with your Colorado Gives Day, some of the similar numbers will be asked, but at that point, you would have had some experience analyzing those numbers and making changes. So that's how we're going to help you iterate and integrate your learning over the year. Back to you, Charlie.
Thanks. Yes, super important to make database decisions on all of this. It's great to think about your feeling like, oh, this email makes me feel great, but sometimes you just never know what's going to work. So database decisions are really going to reinforce those feelings or let you know that like, oh, I just need to start over and kind of re-examine my own thinking because we all have those internal bias, right?
Hey, Charlie, since we're pausing now, do you mind if I pause there was 2 main questions that I think you can easily knock out from the chat. The first was just around the frequency, of course, that we're asking people to send emails is probably a lot more than they're used to, but they should be used to that by now. The question was around newsletters. So Do you have to shift a monthly newsletter if you're actively reaching out to these donors throughout the months? I was thinking, yeah, maybe shift it to quarterly. I know that's what we did so that we had a little bit more flexibility to connect with folks. But what's your take?
I would love to know how effective the newsletter is first, to start, right? Like, is your newsletter really busy? Is it actually working? Is it accomplishing what you want to accomplish? Are people clicking through and reading the things you need them to read through? Usually newsletters are too busy. They're trying to fit everything into one because you can't get, it just needs to go out at once. Otherwise it seems too big, but it's just as easy to put out those stories one at a time. Instead, because like otherwise you're cramming everything into one big stressful moment. But why not use those stories in your giving and your stewardship
Of
instead?
course. Yeah. Oh, that's a
Mhm.
great idea. I love that. And then the second one quick here was just the 90 days seems fast to ask for a
Mm.
second gift. Is that just our perception? Is that just us being uncomfortable with, maybe non-traditional marketing techniques or things that we haven't tried?
Yeah, and like again, that's a soft ask. You don't have to be like, "Now's the time, the only time," you know? You can make that a gentle ask by, and that can be you can make the ask being like, "Oh, we have this article, we think like we wrote this like we got a story in from a donor, we know you're gonna love it." And then on that, there's a pop-up. You know? There's a pop-up like, "Oh, did you love this, like, story? Like, would you like to give again?" You know? You can make it a little more sideways like that. But people that you get to give a second gift within that 90 days, your retention will go way up. So we're aiming for retention, so we want that second gift, within the 90 days if possible. So don't if you feel like it's fast, let three people like what is time after the pandemic, especially? What is time even? It 90 days is, can seem forever ago. It's really not. It really depends on the person, and making sure you're asking in a really kind way. You can acknowledge that, like, it's been a quarter of a year, maybe look framing it like that, like, there's only 4 quarters in a year, and it's one quarter is already gone. So, thinking about it maybe more like that, might help you kind of deal with that, but 90 days isn't yeah, that's a perception, and yeah, if you're feeling nervous about it, try it from a sideways angle, like a pop-up, but also, like, you don't ask, you don't get, period. So if you have goals, if you want to grow your programs, if you want to sustain your organization, you have to ask. And we want it to come from a loving place where they feel good about it. But yeah, you don't ask, you don't get, period. Sorry. Does that answer?
Oh, that was great. Thank you so much.
Wow. Okay, great. That mobile thank you experience designed for thumbs. Again, looking at your thank you page on your phone, really, really important. I know it's really important. I noted I've gone and linked the rules you have to have around opt-in. This isn't something you want to take lightly, but really people are on their phones, right? So, a thankathon through texting, like it's super easy to do. There's really easy pay as you go. I know the kickback to me, but I really like Get Through, especially for small organizations. It's really, really, really clear pricing and it's unlimited text back. Those cost nothing to you. So if you're having a bit of a conversation, it's just so easy to use. Um, the opt-in rules are linked in here to move forward. So if you ever want to do this in the future, making sure you're looking at all the legalities and everything. Colorado's under the federal laws, so there's a link to those there. But obviously, looking carefully ahead of time, mobile giving is growing. It's really valuable way to have an intimate moment. You get text from your friends. That's an intimate moment thing, and it's a lot less exhausting than phone calls, and people are a lot less likely to pick up a call than they are to read a text. You get 98% open rates with texts. You don't get that anywhere else. So thinking about that in your stewardship program moving forward, first step, making sure your opt-in, that people know they in your like you're gonna get updates, and then kind of like emails, texts, and like maybe a call for like if we're lucky, and then and like we'll send you like some thank you notes in the mail. So making sure it's clear, but in a really kind way, an exciting way, and of course everything has the rules in there about opting out.
Charlie, we're
Yep.
a few minutes over the time. Shall
Okay.
we
Sorry. I think
please?
we're almost done.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, if we're able to just finish for the recording's sake, that would be.
yeah.
Okay, great. I'll just pop through confirmation page. Again, like here is the outline you want to do. Email subject line. So this is really kind of where you want to look for the assignment. Weakness versus strength. We've talked a few examples. Often I do the 80-20 rule. You spend 80% of your time crafting a really great subject line and 20% on the email. Like this is the opening moment, right? This is super important. If you only have a bit of time, really, really focus your time here. Power of PS, we've already talked about that. Sometimes it's the most likely thing that people will read after the subject line, which is wild. But yeah, making sure it's really, you're invested in it. Beneficiary stories, just some examples of video thank yous. You'll have all these slides. I'm sorry to speed through them. And there's segmented thank you strategies. Again, just a really clear list for you. We've mentioned it again. I want to really invest in making sure that you hear these things. And that thank you landing page, you lead with gratitude, you show immediate impact. These are all the kind of the thank you method that we went through. Donor surveys, we've gone through this in the email thing. We want to make sure that we're gathering information and making them feel connected and that they're able to show you how they want things to do. Handing technical failures gracefully when systems fail. When you're talking about failures, don't be afraid to say sorry. If anything comes to them that shouldn't have gone to them, we're so grateful for their understanding. And then we have some really great examples. The Thankathon, BCS, BCA did a Thankathon, videos from staff, 7 consecutive days. So and yes, every single day. And 11% of lapsed donor reactivation. That's unbelievable numbers. This one is a really great example. Here, just changing up that language. Higher click rate, increase repeat gifts, 26% increase in repeat gifts. Speaks for itself. So this is everything that we've talked about today. Humane Society digital letter sent 30 days after a first gift to all new donors, a personal message. Again, that higher 90-day retention, amazing. Another, the no ask thank you. We're just really going into many examples so that if you're wondering like, okay, how is this actually doable? All of these are in the slides to really go into that for you. Making sure you're using AI appropriately. It can help you draft. It can help you personalize, and it can test things. It must feel human. Humans must approve. Humans must adapt everything. Remember the way donors they expressing their values when they give, they acted out of compassion, they trust you that you're going to do the actual action, and they become part of your story. Identity reminder, just a little donors give to you, be somebody, the 3% rule with the you. Every thank you is a mirror. People look at themselves and see that. So key takeaways, gratitude is a system, choose your love language. First 90 days are critical. Simple beats perfect. Measure what matters. If you're not measuring, you can't change. You can't get better. The checklist of what you can go and look at. But obviously, you want to do the assignment first. That should be the first thing on here. Thank you. Sorry, I'm so sorry to go over time. I know that we just popped over. So go forth in love. Questions that we can, if people have time.
I think we covered those 2 main ones that I had surfaced. So wow.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Charlie. And this is
Thank
so
you.
much great content. I'm so glad you get to dig through it in Canvas. Everybody, I hope you have a great Colorado Gives Day. Let us know if you need any support in Canvas or otherwise. And thank you. We love being with you, so thank you for showing up and allowing us to do that.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.